In every neighborhood, there are stories we never hear. Behind walls we pass every day, behind doors we never open, there are worlds we never see. And in one of those houses lived Ada, a bright girl with eyes full of dreams. A girl who believed she was born to heal the world. A girl whose story should have been different, if not for the man her mother married. To the world, he was perfect. To her mother, he was responsible. But to Ada, he was a storm she could not escape, the beast. Before the shadows grew long, Ada dreamed of becoming a medical doctor. She studied by candlelight, tracing diagrams with hopeful fingers. She believed she could rise above anything. She believed life would reward her hard work. But dreams are fragile things, easily broken when the hands meant to protect you become the ones you fear the most and the people you believe will listen to you turn deaf ears to you. The man the world saw was gentle and kind. The kind who offered rides, who carried heavy bags, who prayed the loudest. But monsters do not come with fangs. Some come dressed as fathers. Some smile while they take everything from you. And some become the reason a child stops believing in tomorrow. Ada learned to fear footsteps, and silence, and nights that lasted too long. She lived in constant terror of her stepfather. Whenever he was around, fear wrapped itself around her like a cold shadow. He never called her unless it was to send her on strange, exhausting chores, or to summon her to his room under the guise of serving him. Her mother was hardly ever home. Even on weekends, the house was empty except for Ada and the man she dreaded more than darkness. He reminded her every day that she had no one to run to. If you tell anyone, our neighbors, people in church, your teachers, your life will end right there, he would threaten, his voice low and deadly. He told her she should be grateful. That everything he did was a repayment for raising her from childhood. And so Ada learned to swallow her screams, hide her bruises, and carry fear like a second skin. The body can hide many wounds, but the eyes always tell the truth. Yet her truth stayed locked inside her, buried under fear, shame, and a desperate wish to be rescued from the claws of her stepfather. Every day, Ada tried to pretend. Every night, she tried not to break. But the human heart can only carry so much darkness before the cracks begin to show. When Ada's stepfather realized she is pregnant, he bought an abortion pill for her in the name of malaria drugs, but it later caused a backlash. When Ada collapsed in the school and was rushed to the nearest hospital before the attention of her mother was called upon. Everyone thought she was stressed and worried about her academics and upcoming exam. Her friends thought she was distracted. No one knew that Ada was slowly drowning, in a house where she was supposed to be safe. Silence is the deadliest prison. Ada lived inside it for months, hoping someone would see past the smile, past the lies, past the mask her stepfather wore so well. The truth didn't come in words. It arrived suddenly, terrifying, final. By the time Ada reached the hospital, her body had already endured too much. Yet the doctor said something unexpected: she had a strong will to survive. Ada's stepfather came to the hospital. In his desperation to hide his sins, the stepfather committed one last act of cruelty. A decision made in darkness. A decision that tore away the last thread of Ada's strength. He bribed a corrupt doctor who eventually gave Ada an injection, despite her strong will to achieve her dream. 2 days later, Ada's fight ended. Not because she gave up, but because she was never given a chance. 2 days after Ada's death, the same doctor who had once said she had a strong will to survive could not let go of the feeling that something was wrong. Out of quiet curiosity and growing suspicion, he began to investigate. He reached out to a police officer, an old friend he trusted, and together they dug deeper into the case. What they uncovered was darker than anyone expected. Ada's stepfather had been involved in her suffering, and there was the beast that has been molesting Ada, with the help of a corrupt doctor. They silent Ada so that the truth won't be uncovered to everyone. In the end, the truth could not be buried. Both men were arrested, tried, and sentenced to life imprisonment. But for Ada, it was already too late. The world lost a future doctor, a healer, a girl who wanted nothing more than to help others. 2 days after Ada closed her eyes forever, a letter arrived. It was not a letter of sorrow, but of celebration, carefully written, officially stamped, carrying the kind of joy that should have changed a life. Ada had been offered admission into the best medical school in the country. A dream she had quietly nurtured. A future she had worked for in silence. A life she was meant to step into with pride. But the letter arrived too late. It met a home already broken. Her mother held it with trembling hands, reading the words again and again as if repetition could rewrite reality. But it could not. The truth stayed fixed, cold, unchangeable. The daughter who should have smiled at that news was already gone. That was when understanding turned into devastation. The man she trusted, the man she believed was protection for her child, had instead become the source of her suffering. And by the time the truth fully surfaced, there was nothing left to save, only something to regret. Silence filled the house Ada once lived in. Not the peaceful kind, but the kind that screams. Ada was gone. But her absence spoke louder than her life ever could. Because Ada's story is not just about loss, it is a warning written in pain. To every mother, do not only love your daughter. Study her silence. Notice her fear. Pay attention when her laughter becomes forced, when her steps become quieter, when her eyes stop trusting the world around her. Be her safe place before she needs rescue. Be the voice she can reach before she breaks. Because sometimes danger does not come from far away. Sometimes it wears a familiar face. And when it does, silence becomes too expensive. Ada may be gone, but her story remains a mirror. A reminder that protection is not just provision, it is presence, awareness, and courage. So let every mother hold this truth close. Do not wait for a letter too late. Do not wait for silence to become permanent. Do not wait until all that remains is regret written in ink that cannot be erased.